I guess I was so desperate, I had to look for a drought-tolerant plant. I finally shifted my paradigm. And then when I did, lavenders came in the picture. It kept on coming up, you know. And of course it was, oh, he's crazy. This guy is crazy. Of course, when we started doing the product when everything started rolling, I said, you know what, I'm getting too old for this kind of running around looking for business. Let's bring the people to the farm. And then that's when it all began. And that was 4 years ago. And so, and then now I did not know it was Agtourism until we went to the Ag conference. And so I thought, well, it was just a form of survival, what I was doing. And I started to think, well, isn't so this Agtourism, now it has a name. But then, so we decided now we got to educate the public. You know, this is a whole new paradigm in agriculture. You know, and so then there it was. So we decided, okay, let's have the tea tour first. And then the tea tour came, and then, I mean, it was successful. We opened 7 days a week now for this. It's just a full experience sharing the crop that's in the fields. Of course, everything is presented very well in our gardens. It's not just an ordinary farm. It's just everything has presentation to it. And so I feel like, you know, if you're gonna bring people up, you have to make it worthwhile for them to come and see your ag lands and see them done in a, you know, upscale conditions. And then I look at it, ag. Who wants to do ag? Nobody wants to do ag anymore. They were all failing. So why not be creative and romanticize the whole thing? So this is why the whole romanticizing thing is here with the plants, and everybody goes out and they feel so happy with the, you know, the plants and the flowers and the products we're making. A lot of people that come to us didn't even know you could cook with it. So we had opened other directions in the culinary side, you know, with the lavenders. But we have to look at the next motion if we're going to stay in business. I gave myself 10 more years at this. So I intend to make it a real full 10 years, you know. And then the good part about it, there's a marketing side. So here comes Lani. So she's the marketer, and without this, I mean, I'm a farmer. I mean, I don't have the time to go out there marketing. I used to do that before when I was doing only wholesale. But in the meantime, you know, Lani comes along, and so it pushed our company to the even higher levels, because marketing and branding is very necessary.
What happened is when Ali came with his 40 years in farming, and then I came with my 28 years in tourism. When we came together, it was a very, very powerful union. And what we wanted to do is we set our business model where we wanted to empower the community while we grew. So, you know, as we grew, we wanted everybody else to grow with us. And how could we do that? How could we pull everybody in? So we went after all of the home-based businesses here in our community, and we partnershiped with them to create our value-added products. And that proved to be such a win-win situation, because we didn't have the labor to create the jellies, etc. We didn't have the bottling facility, nor did we have the certified kitchens. We didn't have the recipes, but we did have the lavender. And so we would take it over to our jelly maker, and she was excitedly challenged by creating a lavender lilikoi jelly or a lavender poha jam. And she took on the challenge, and we would give it to her, and then the following week we just reversed the truck and just load up all the cases in there. And what was nice is that we had a product that we needed. She had a new product which she didn't have to market. We marketed it all, and we were able to sell many times more for her than she could sell for herself. And what ended up happening for her is that she was able to get the part-time help she needed, and she was able to purchase equipment that she couldn't afford prior to us coming in. What we did is we duplicated that 25 times within our community. So we have people doing the dressings for us, somebody making the goat milk soap, somebody else, even Rosalani ice cream, they do our lavender mango sherbet. And we went further than that. We started to enlarge our community by going to Big Island Candies and having them do our lavender brownies and our lavender chocolate truffles. We went to Kauai and we had them do our lavender shortbread cookies. And so we started to include as many as we could. And then when we found how easy it was, the value added side just soared for us. So we were able to collect anywhere from 6 to 8 times more on a value-added product than we could when we just sold the raw crop. And an example of that is we could sell a bunch of lavender for $20, or we could use that same bunch and put it in lavender poha jam and collect $120. So we got the math and we realized that the survival tactic was there, and that's all we had to do was just keep turning the product again and creating this opportunity for as many people as we could. Once we realized and learned how to add value to both our farm as well as the business and really empower the community, we really felt compelled to teach others how to do it too. So it's one thing adding value to our farm, but really the ultimate goal for Ali'i and I was to be able to train others to add value to their farms. And that is a key component to what we do today.
Kind of, I think the last conference actually, where there were speakers on agritourism. In fact, it was Ali Kula Lavender gave a good talk on what they were doing, and I think Melvin.
It was started with maybe 5 years ago when I visited Ali Kula Lavender farm, and I saw how professional they were in presenting what they had. It really left a memory in me, really strong on that. I thought they were the best ones in marketing that I have seen up to that point. And when I saw her at the conference 2 years ago, that's the time I mentioned to Kylie, if you want to get some good help, go ask Lonnie. And Lonnie then was really busy, and at first I didn't think Lonnie and Ali would even consider consulting or helping us to our project, but Kylie asked her later on, and then to our surprise, they said they were very happy to help us with our project, and here we are now.
As time goes on, you realize that we have 4 children. If they want to be a part of this place, you better drum up enough businesses so that they can be included. And we've been fortunate in some of the things we've tried have succeeded, many of them have not. Well, first of all, we wanted bed and breakfast. The girls wanted to do a bed and breakfast. After about 2 weeks, they decided they didn't want to do bed and breakfast. Okay, so that was easy to close up because that's a cottage that we have on the place that we have visitors stay in. And well, then we have the evening at Kahua, where people come up here for a barbecue evening. And the numbers of people that we currently have run from a low of 60 to a top of about 150. And we have them 3 to 4 times a week. So it gets a little tiring on some of the people who have to man that, because currently the bus arrives about 5:30 and they leave about 8:15, and it's all catered, and the caterer has a liquor license, so we serve wine and beer here. The ranch does not have a liquor license. What we're doing, we're permitting people from the United States a chance to see a part of Hawaii that they will never see. That we are not part of beaches, ocean, hula dancing, none of that's here. They see the real old Hawaii. We started, I guess it's been 10 or 15 years ago, working with Peter Merriman on providing lamb to Merrimans in Waimea. This was before he moved to Maui, before he had another shop or another restaurant, the King Shop. We've been going ever since.
The reason I got into ag tourism was because I was going out and visiting farmers, and I realized how exceptional of an experience that was. And I kept thinking, every time I go visit a farmer, I come back and go, wow, how fortunate am I? These are really neat people, they're doing really neat things in very interesting locations. Often the farmers themselves don't appreciate how interesting of a situation they have. And I was fortunate because I was pursuing locally raised products to go out and visit many of these farmers over years. I mean, it's been 15, 18 years now at Merriman's we've been doing this. And after a while I started thinking, boy, how could I share this experience with the people who come to Hawaii? Because I think there is a lot more to Hawaii than just the white sand beaches. Our white sand beaches are fabulous, and then everybody's learning now, I think, about Hawaiian ancestry and so forth. But then another deep-seated part of the culture of Hawaii is this agricultural community. And the contemporary agricultural community is every bit as interesting, if not more interesting, than the traditional agricultural community in Hawaii, which was primarily an export industry. And now with the agriculture being geared towards consumption in our local restaurants and grocery stores, there's a much more diverse group of people who are growing things, and the things that they're growing are more diverse, which means that you have a whole new mindset and approach to how you get to these products. And that formula, that recipe, is a very interesting recipe. You put that all in the oven, bake it up, and you come out with a real interesting afternoon for someone to go and visit one of these farms. So that's really what stimulated me. I just felt the ability to share that experience with other people is so unique.
Okay, 15 years ago when we first got the farm, we were just going to be cherry farmers, and we figured out quickly that we couldn't make any money just being cherry farmers. So we decided to take it all the way to roasted. Then we were one of the first to come up with an internet website, and had we were looking at different avenues for expanding our business, and so the website was really good. And we people started wanting to come up to the farm, see what we actually did, and it is a working farm. So it was giving them an experience, and it takes at least 2 hours to run them through everything. We go out through the coffee, we explain the coffee, how it's picked, you know, only the ripe red beans, and hopefully it's during the season where they can actually see that stuff in action. Sometimes our pickers would be up here, and they'd really enjoy watching the pickers. Sometimes we strap a picking basket on them and say, here, you know, you have at it. And so we'd take them out there. We'd also take them out to the macadamia nuts. We have a small herd of hair sheep out there, bred for the tropics, and St. Croix and Barbados. And the sheep are real friendly, and they come up and they, you know, crack a mac nut for them, and they'd love to munch on them. And so the people really got an experience with the, you know, with farm animals, and you know, not just coffee, but with the mac nuts also. And then we take them up. We'll show them the Hoshidana, our drying decks, and what happens with coffee cherry after it's pulped and fermented. Show them our pulping mill, how the coffee gets weighed and logged in. And the fact that we buy coffee cherry from 8 other farms, and how we keep it all separate. We do all of our marketing based on, we have this master label, and then we have a little insert that goes into it. Tells people which coffee it is, which roast it is. Agtourism is just starting to blossom, at least here in Kona. I know there are people that email us right now. We have a notation on our website about the farm tours that we have. But I get emails, I book tours via email. Right now we're getting a lot of people that come in on the tour boats, tour ships, what do you call them? Cruise ships. And they'll actually rent a car. They'll go from the pier all the way out to the airport, rent a car, and drive down here specifically to do the farm tour.
We got involved in ag tourism and saw the possibilities about 7 years ago. I was a tour operator in my past life. I still have that company, and I saw when I brought people to farms and met business owners of those farms, and were able to walk their fields and learn about themselves as business owners, and some of them have some very interesting pasts, and now they're in agriculture. We were able to walk their fields and spend time with them, learn about what they grow, and then be able to taste what they grow, and then be able to buy what they grow. I saw this incredible interaction on a human scale that I had never seen before in tourism. I saw people truly connecting with a place. And you know, I've been involved in tourism all my life, and I'd never seen that before. And I thought, that's magic, because it's people meeting people. The crop and what they grow enhances the experience while they're there. But I saw, you know what, this is really cool. This could grow. And when we started our venture here, I mean, I had picnic tables out there. I had no stairs to get people up to our place. We used to have to like pull them up. The larger women pull them up. And my wife would do the cooking, and it was just the kids and us, and paper plates, napkins, and it was really hard in the beginning because it started to grow. We would do it once a week, and then it started to build and build and build and build. And the magic was still there. They were meeting my family. They were actually coming to Hawaii and sitting down and having a meal with somebody who's born and raised here, and sharing in a moment, you know, like we're family. And it was awesome. And current numbers that are coming through are projected for this year, 2006, 2007 will be 10,000 people. And how do we deal with that growth? I mean, that's where we're at right now. The company is at a place where things are booming. We have 9 employees. 3 months ago I had 1 part-time worker, and now I have 9. And we've made this big jump because we're getting very busy. The farm's growing, the kitchen's growing, and we need help. Our kids are no longer able to do everything.
We got into ag tourism because Kualoa Ranch is 4,000 acres, half of which is agricultural land, and we knew that the agricultural revenues were not enough to sustain the company over the long run. Company's been in our family for 150 years, a little more than that, and so we had to look to the future and say, okay, we don't want to sell, we don't want to develop. What can we do to, you know, to keep the land in our family and be profitable? So that's when we turned to ag tourism, which was a part of our overall strategy to get into outdoor recreation and tourism. We're developing now a tour of this area. We have a 125-acre fish pond, still an active Hawaiian fish pond. That's obviously agriculture. We have 60 acres above the fish pond that we're developing into a little bit of everything. You know, we have a tropical flower operation that is actually for profit. We have a lot of different tropical fruit orchards planted, and then we're working on some other things. We're putting down pineapple this week. We've put in sugar so that we can teach our customers about the history of agriculture in Hawaii too. So not just, but we're not going to be selling sugar or pineapple in any volume, that's for sure. Well, the scope of activities that Kualoa Ranch has is quite broad. You know, we have horseback rides, we have ATV rides, we have a gun range, and we have 4 different tours of the property. And we had one tour for a long time, and we've added the other 3, and they're really focusing on agriculture, culture, and the environment. So we get somewhere between 150 to 300 people a day come into the ranch to see what we have to offer.
I think there are a lot of farmers that hesitate to move towards the ag tourism side because they think, you know, how big do we have to make it? You know, we don't want all these people trampling all over our, you know, crops, etc. But that's the beauty of ag tourism, is you could make it as small
or as big as you want.
You know. We turn down buses all the time up here, and we're fine with it because that's not what our vision is for this place. Mm-hmm. This place here is about healing, it's about wellness, it's about bringing people together so that they can connect. And the fact that we were able to put romance into farming just brings people back to the land, which was really one of our higher goals, because once they get back to the land, they start to feel quite euphoric. They think it's the lavender, and we tell them it is, but really it's just because they've come back again and reconnected to their source, and that is really important, not only for our communities but for the planet at large. And that's what ag tourism brings people.
I think the future of ag tourism in Hawaii is real positive growth. More people are looking for eco adventures and ag adventures and something off the beaten path rather than just maybe a snorkel cruise or something that they've probably done other places that they've vacationed. So with this being unique as far as coffee growing in the United States anyway, I think that's a big reason why people will, when they come to Kona, they feel like they need to visit a farm, coffee farm.
Yeah, we realized that it's been a long process. I think it's been 2 years since we initially, or more, 2 years, about 2 years,
at least 2
years.
Yeah.
And that it's been a bumpy ride along the way, but we see light at the end of the tunnel. But on that note, again, we realize that agritourism is not for every farmer. I mean, I guess the situation have to be right for each operation. Just so happened, I think it's right for us. That's why we want to pursue it. But again, because Kylie wanted to come back to the farm and she had that knowledge or the desire to do it and move forward on it, I think that was a big plus for us, because I think we doing it on our own, I don't think we would have.
No, I'll stay on the tractor. You run the front.
A lot of people save their money, and this is their dream vacation, and I should respond to them. So I believe that we give them an experience for what they're paying, and we're grateful. We gotta be grateful too, because there's other places, Italy, other places, and we have to remember that, be humble and be grateful that they came, and respond to them. And that's easy. People they fall in love with Hawaii in their minds, but when they come here, that starts to unfold, and part of the unfolding is me helping to have that unfold for them, And I walk away a better person too by meeting these people who have come here. That I also educate them about the products, And I just got back from Virginia, and I saw my first apple tree, and I was in awe. I was like, stop! I gotta take a picture of, And I'm no different from everybody else. Many people, if we sit here and we try to, formulate, advertisement. Most people, it's just like us. We're just the same in different product, And I see it all the time. Everybody pulling out. Let's look at the pineapples, and I understand now how they feel. Instead, mine was an apple tree, And that's good. That's good, because that's what people are coming. They're coming to get away and enjoy themselves.
So what do I see about the future of ag tourism in Hawaii? I think it's strong. I think it's a big part of Hawaii's identity, and everybody thinks of palm trees and beaches and Waikiki and things like that, but I think even as many people realize that there's a lot of natural beauty out there, and people are taking care of the beauty and making a living.
Agriculture is really made up of a lot of things, and those lot of things keep growing. Ag tourism, 10 years ago, who ever heard of it? Now it's a definite part of agriculture. Not all farmers embrace it. Not all farmers have a type of an operation that can make it work. Not all farmers have the ability to persuade others to make it part of agriculture. But if you make it part of agriculture, you will find that it helps everybody.
I think that there's more growth in Hawaii ag tourism than there is in the internet. I don't even think we have gotten to this point where we understand all the things that we can do with ag tourism in Hawaii. The beaches are great, but there's so much more to Hawaii. And as people travel more and become more and more sophisticated, they're looking for different types of experiences, and they're looking for authentic experiences. And nothing's more authentic than connecting with the people who work with the land every single day. And the different ways we figure out to do that, that's how our tourism will grow and grow. I guess our number one competitor is Napa Valley, and they're doing pretty well as it is right now.
you.